Hey, did you hear the news that they found the guy who maybe shot Tupac? I only read a headline. I didn't follow up on the story. But I guarantee it wasn't that insect or whatever it is I just showed you. Let's get into my book haul. I didn't go anywhere. Going somewhere means you have to leave your home. I didn't leave my home. All these books came to my house, invited, and I'm going to share them with you today. First up is Dune. It's the Galactic Edition. This is producer Jill's copy. She's a graphic designer by trade, so she's all about those graphics when they're designed. And and she loves typography. Like typography is her jam. It's not my jam. I like honey and I kiss it on the lips. So this is the Galactic Edition with a series introduction by Neil Gaiman, and it's a series because there's a series. Now I'm like Kamala Harris. A series means there's a series of books, and it is the sci-fi heavyweights, the heavy hitters: Neuromancer, Stranger in a Strange Land, June, some others. And look at that. So this is the coolest part. This should have been on the cover. It is four separate characters, each defining a letter in Dune, and they're all the exact same object in different angles and rotations. Awesome. That is cool. Now he couldn't. The designer couldn't do that with Stranger in a Strange Land. He's a different animal, or Neuromancer, or what have you. But Dune is the lucky recipient of that. So this is a reading copy. It is obviously not the Centipede Press, all the bells and whistles edition, but the words are exactly the same. Now I've not seen this for sale on Amazon separately from the Galaxy set, but maybe you could have better luck finding it. I'll put a link in the description. Up next is another book you can get on Amazon, and it's the new Keelan Patrick Burke Grimm Portraits. And look at that art. You know, he does the art as well. That's just creepy AF. And it's been a while since I've read Keelan Patrick Burke. I still have to read Guests, believe it or not, but this is going up the TBR right after the Chad Lutsky book I'm going to read, Spinal Remains. I'm going to read this. Keelan Patrick Burke is amazing. His writing reminds me of Clive Barker, who I hold in high esteem. I put Clive Barker as an author above Stephen King. Stephen King's a great storyteller, and he's got that magic, but he can't hold a candle to the beautiful prose of Clive Barker. And I think Keelan Patrick Burke, if he's going to be an heir to anyone's throne, it's Clive Barker's. Bam, magic. So I can't wait to read this, and I will. Just watch me, and then I'll review it on the channel. But you could also get it and read it for yourself, and then my opinion is just another opinion that's ignored. Now, this one is a product of the VJ Books Book Stewart program. This is the one where you sign up and you say, I want new releases from these authors. And they automatically send them to you when those authors have new releases. And it's easy to forget about, especially when you think VJ Books is going out of business because they had a retirement sale and they're selling everything for like $5. But I've let it ride, and then I got this in the mail. I'm like, wait, why am I getting a book in the mail? And it's like, oh yeah, that Book Stewart program. But I love Chuck Palahniuk. All of VJ Books books are signed. This is no exception. Chuck Palahniuk. He has an incredible signature. He recently did a book tour, or is maybe still doing a book tour for this book, and I would have loved to see him. Kangaroos are involved. Kangaroos. Big stuffed kangaroos. He puts on a big show when he does a book tour. He's very I don't want to say theatrical, but he's very theatrical. At least with the extras and the things that are tied to the release, and there's always an object. For example, Disembodied Arms, signed. That's an actual Chuck Palahniuk signature there. Were part of the release of one of his books. Now, I wasn't fortunate enough to go to the little book tour party where he gave out body parts, but a good friend of mine on the channel sent this my way because he's like, I don't want it stinking up my shelf. And I'm like, oh, I want that stinking up my shelf. So if you ever get a chance to see Chuck Palahniuk do one of his book tour stops, it's just a crazy riot carnival of a great time, from what I understand. Now, author I have seen on a book tour stop because I helped him with the Q&A at the event was Philip Fracassi, and he recently, on his book tour, stopped off at Cemetery Dance, who published Gothic and signed a bunch of these squiggly diggly signatures into the books. And I don't know if they still have them. I'll link to it. But for a little time, they had a bunch of Gothics signed by Philip Fracassi. Now, I have this book. I have the book from Cemetery Dance with a book plate. That's how they initially sent it out. Then I got a book from VJ Books where they do the tipped in signature sheet. And then this one where he went back to Cemetery Dance and actually signed them right in the book and did the little horns thing. And I had a credit balance at Cemetery Dance. I'm like, this is definitely worth breaking into that little credit balance to get a book while it's still available. Because Philip Fracassi's, he's Philip Fracassi, man. So if they're still available and you see this video in time, definitely get a copy. If not, get the paperback and read the hell out of it. It's a fantastic book. And then continuing with the theme of G-O words, one-word titles that begin with G and O, there's Goblin. And Goblin by Josh Malerman. These are the only words in English in the whole book. This is the German edition of Goblin, also by Cemetery Dance Germany. And this was an impulse buy. I bought it through Dark Regions Press, who imported all these from Germany. And I did it because, man, it's Josh Malerman, a signed edition. And it has my favorite artist, Daniel Serra, did the art for this. I did not realize it was going to be laminate boards with the art right on there, but they did a great job. I think Cemetery Dance Germany could teach Cemetery Dance Baltimore how to do a book, because this is spectacular. Paper quality is incredible. There's like spot gloss things going on with these flies and the windows. It's beautifully bound. It's got the ribbon page marker there. The paper quality is superb. I mean, this is great paper quality. There's art throughout. Cool end sheets with more Daniel Serra art. A little book at a mark, all in German, so you can't read the damn thing. But amazing, great thing to add to the collection. I would love to see this exact edition released in English. That would be awesome. But I have Goblin by Earthling. I have the trade edition, and now I have the German edition. This is it. I'm calling off foreign language editions, no matter how cool they look. They also put the title up the spine the wrong way. I've covered this in a short. Go back and see it, but Continental Europe does the spines the wrong way. Sorry, you guys are wrong. You're wrong about soccer. You're wrong about the metric system. And now you're wrong about this. And then rounding it out is a new Levidian Publications chapbook. This is something you get if you support Brian James Freeman on one of the most modest levels of support on Patreon. And he sends out chapbooks that he authors. He also sends out guest chapbooks, guest authored chapbooks, and he just shared a sneak peek at the next guest authored chapbook. And oh man, I don't know if I'm at liberty to tell you who the author is for this next guest chapbook from Levidian, but This author is one of my favorite authors, and I've gotten back into reading him. I've indoctrinated my brother-in-law into reading him, and I'm very jazzed about that chapbook. Great author, and I love supporting Brian James Freeman. He just did Doing Dirty Work. Yeah, that was the last chapbook he sent out. It was a Brian James Freeman story. I top-loaded it. I read it. Brilliant story. Brian James Freeman's an author. As an author by himself, is an amazing author. As a publisher, he's incredible, and as a human being, he's stellar. So go support Brian James Freeman. Forgive him for his association with Cemetery Dance, okay? Can you get over it, Jeff? Forgive him for Mr. Purple. So they all come in an envelope. You could say envelope and be wrong. That's okay. And then it has Francois Villancourt art on it. Look at that. Burying Little Annie. I mean, this is a sequel to Orphan Annie, right? This is a sequel to Annie. Tomorrow. There are no tomorrows for you, little Annie. Daddy, why is there red hair on this shovel? Shut up. Hand me those gloves. Get the burn barrel ready. I don't know. I can't tell you if this is the follow-up to that Broadway smash hit by Jay-Z. Burying Little Annie. My number is 222. And this is signed by Brian James Freeman, Francois Villancourt, and Gled Chadbourne, who I believe must have art inside. Otherwise, he's just signing things now. I'd like to get him to sign a check to me. Okay, so yeah, there's the Glenn Chadbourne art. All the other art heretofore I've shown you is Francois Villancourt. And this is a beautiful little chapbook. It's perfect bound, so there's no staples that you can cut yourself on. Sometimes the staples get rusty. You prick your finger, and there's your tetanus, and you got lockjaw, and you can't do a YouTube channel anymore. I assume at this part, Little Annie is buried. So I'm going to read it, and I'm making light of the title and all that, but Brian James Freeman's stories do pack quite an emotional punch, so I'm probably going to be regretting this video later on, but I regret them all, so it's like, this is my life. I regret every minute that passed, just like that one. So that's my book haul for September 2023. I'll put links in the description so you can go get these titles, support Brian James Freeman, but there's no way I can get for you this dismembered arm where there's still bone marrow in there. Look at that. Talk about going for the whole hog, right? Got the bone sticking out and the marrow in the bones. That's it. Thank you for joining me this time. I hope to see you again next time. And in the meantime, stay frosty.
Now, I know damn well this camera can't possibly pick it up, but this web is like 3-4 layers deep. Look at the size of that baby. Oh my God, it's huge. And this web is like I said, it goes back layers. There are layers to this web. I'm going to try to not disrupt it. I don't know how this architect set it up, but look at that. Wow. You see all that? It goes back. Like, there's this web here, and it's got a bunch of stuff on it. And then there's this web here, and that's where the big baby is. He's a big baby. But it is like a jungle gym. What the hell is going on here? It's like, oh, I see. So this little baby spider here built a web, and then he like moved into the neighborhood and built a bigger web and said, I'm gonna catch all this shit. Look at that guy. Wow. Can I zoom in? I don't know if I can zoom. Wow, there he is. There he is. Look at that guy. He's enormous. He's gonna kill all the other spiders. can't get too much closer because I'll destroy the web. Wow.